Aigboje Aig Imoukhuede, Chairman, Access Holdings PLC. I started my career as a lawyer many years ago. I'm older than I look. And then I went into banking. My banking career started. Was fortunate to work in very, very high-performing banks. And in 2001, I was inspired to partner with a fellow colleague to go off and buy our own bank. That bank is called Access Bank. My ambition, as a young man was to be the CEO of a multinational, Unilever, maybe one of the beer brewers. And it was the segue into banking that got me thinking more along the lines of the impact of what I do as a professional, as opposed to just the professional achievement. And so as a banker, I embarked upon this career, which was to prove to the world that Africans could, as banking professionals, be as good as banking professionals anywhere else in the world. And as that ambition grew larger, it was to show that Africans could operate banking institutions that were on par with the best banking institutions in the world. In this very, very ambiguous, very complex world, there is a tendency for nations, institutions, and even individuals to think inwards. And as a result, cooperation and collaboration can be lacking when it's necessary. And when you think about trade, when you think about investment, which over thousands of years has powered humanity to where it is today, one then worries, when nations, look inwards. So when you have safety corridors, such as the type of corridor that is being built through the special relationship that both nations, that's France and Nigeria, enjoy, that is powered by President Tinubu and President Macron, who understand and trust each other, then we should seize that opportunity. A safe corridor, a safe way of passage, bridges between our two countries that companies, investors can travel over, confident that, at either end, there is a destination that is worthwhile for them. Why I take art and culture as being so important. If you go back to the first time any individual felt that they were successful at anything, probably, manifested through some wealth. What is the principal aspiration of those who are wealthy? What do they want to acquire? If you think about the things they seek to acquire, it's a home. What's a home? It's an artistic expression. It's a sculpture. What's sculpture? Art. It's sweet music. What's music? Art and culture. So the ultimate expression of wealth, the ultimate expression of enlightenment, actually, is to live and experience art and culture. Perhaps things that you, who deem yourself to be influential and wealthy, do not have the skill and the talent and the craftsmanship to produce, but you want to own a part of. And that's why art and culture is fundamental, is the most important expression of success. When you think about the men and women, or should I say women and men, who are talented enough to produce the output that we term arts and culture, that entertains us, that gives us, that edifies us, that gives us a reason to live and to continue to work and strive to move up. Without them, probably nations are nothing. And that's the blessing of Africa and indeed Nigeria, that our men and women are talented and have been talented for thousands of years to produce music, to produce art in its various forms of expression. And I think also that the French people and the French community recognize what Nigeria produces and love it. And so we want to share it and share it intensely. Well, my boss, when I was developing my career at probably the most important points in time, his name is Fola Adeola, is one role model. There are others as well. People who have run as chairpersons of the stock exchange. I've chaired the Nigerian Stock Exchange myself. I've also chaired the Financial Markets Dealers Quotations Exchange. I've been lucky, probably the only African to chair 2 exchanges. And so Pascal Dozier, who has chaired the Nigerian Stock Exchange, is also somebody who I admire a lot. My inspiration tends to come from what I read and what I read deeply. Most of my historical references came around biographies by what I would call titans of finance, who, by virtue of their activities in the world of finance, banking, insurance, and so on, were able to make tremendous impacts on the economies of the nations that they served. I don't think we're yet there, but I want a time when African financial institutions will account for most of the developmental finance that Africa needs. There is no limit to what you can do and who you can be other than yourself. And so, this is time for limitless thinking and true ambition. Is a continent transformed where men and women together can experience the best that the world has to offer the individual. A good way to understand what drives me is to read my book, where I said I would never be left on the tarmac again.